Hey, what's up, everybody? OCD Mikey, Hi-Fi Guy here for another edition of the Mikey Show, and I am doing this just on the fly in the lobby here of this place. Yesterday was a great day. I spent all day pretty much on the main floor and then up on 12 and saw some really cool rooms. First off, more than anything, this freaking venue is the most brilliant venue I've seen for a show, I think, yet, short of Las Vegas. This place is awesome. I can see this place growing. I could see us taking over this joint. This could actually replace Axpona insofar as a venue. It is as big and as grand, and it's incredible. So hats off to Gary and Lou for making a killer venue. This place rocks. So yesterday it was great. The show has been, there's like 50 or 60 rooms, including everything in the booths and everything like that. So it's pretty small. It's 2 floors upstairs. Like, see these, actually, we're in a different atrium. This is the big atrium. But on the other side, there's 2 levels, 12 and 14. And, you know, and the thing that's nice about this, and there's not a ton of people. So what's nice is you get to go into the rooms and spend time in the rooms, really getting to know the rig. And more than anything yesterday, I realized how valuable it is to spend a little time in the rooms. Like, man, when you go to Axpona, if you want to see different rooms, you want to see a bunch of different stuff, you've got friggin' 5-10 minutes in each room and you got to bail. And there's a bunch of hustle and bustle here. There's elbow room. You can spend time. We were sitting in rooms yesterday and listening to half of albums, like sides of albums. And so it was really fun. I went into the audio note room, which was on 12. Again, a great experience. You saw some of my shorts. If you haven't seen the short videos, look in my shorts and you'll see some of them. Look in my shorts. You don't want to do that on the file on this channel, and you'll see some of the little short videos that I did of the rooms that I was impressed with. Another one, an audio note. They gave me a Tool album, right? Because they played Tool last time, so they're like, "Oh, Mikey," and I honestly, I'm not even really a Tool guy. I am becoming one because I went to the show the other day, and I've never seen anything like it. So, anyways, so they gave me the album. They said, "Here, Mikey, do the honors, open the album." They gave me a little blade to open it, and so that was kind of fun because I guess that's part of the joy is opening a brand new album. So I got to do that for my first time since I was a kid yesterday. In the audio note room, and it was a Tool album, and they played Tool, and it sounded phenomenal, and it was vinyl, and there was no way I could even tell it was vinyl, meaning it wasn't making its typical crack, snap, crackle, and pops. It sounded like digital. It's funny, I'm the guy that tells you that the vinyl has reached digital quality, but digital quietness, which is what I heard. And it was great, man. I mean, what a great system. I'm starting to understand the whole ecosystem that is audio note. Another room that stood out was, of course, the Borison room, the $2 million rig. On the other side of the room, they had a system that was $50,000, but the main takeaway was $20,000 towers and $11,000 all-in-one. And then the associated other stuff made it up to 50, but the speakers were 22 grand. The all-in-one was 11 grand, and it was very, very good. I realized some of its shortcomings when we went to a lot of its shortcomings. You go across the room and it's a $2 million rig, and over there, okay, so the thing is with that, that's a different buyer than most all of us, right? $2 million, none of us can really wrap our heads around that. But there are buyers out there that are luxury buyers that buy $2 million audio rigs. And for them, the difference between 1 million and 2 million, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing, right? Anything under 5 million, it's all on, it's game, right? And with that system, I felt like I listened to it and I felt like, okay, here's something that is no shortcomings. I can't find anything that I could shake a stick at in that system. It did everything, and it did it like in amazing fashion. Yeah, $2 million is a lot for an audio system, but it was like, I mean, there was no shortcomings. There was no shortcomings whatsoever. I don't know, wide, expansive sound stage. I remember this part where this cello came in, and everybody in that was watching was like, because we all felt it at the same time. It was like one of those deals, like, oh my God, I can't believe what that just sounded like. It was so real with the vibration, the resonance, and everything like that. So that was amazing. I mean, we sat there kind of dumbstruck, you know. We could have stayed in the Boris and on that end of the room all day long. Talked to Peter, you know, always good to see Peter. Talked to Lars upstairs. He was in the room with the small room with the $100,000 monitors. That was really cool. But of course, the big rig downstairs was much more intense. So that was fun. Saw Acora Acoustics and Val. Always love to see Val. You know, huge. What the Acora Acoustics room was probably the biggest room I've ever seen an audio system in, and I stood like, I don't know, 15 foot or more away from the speakers, maybe 20, and the image was absolutely astounding how high that image was. It was just, I mean, it made a wall of sound out of these speakers. Granted, they're 250,000, and you know, you had to be a distance away for that image to develop. But it was pretty intense. That was pretty intense. Okay, also went into the Voxative room, and that was great. Saw Inez. We actually had dinner with the gang. We had a great gang. Man, if you guys ever join with Mikey at one of these shows for our dinners, I put together the most fun groups of artists and musicians and people, the freaks, you know, where it's a great group, man. And so we had dinner last night with a great group, and so the Voxative room was a single driver speaker. They had $13,000 speakers, which is pretty amazing, and then their 211 amp, the integrated, and a Vice streamer. And you know, you come from the other rooms with the tweeters, and your ears are a little bit used to being overstimulated, and you get into a single driver room with a single driver speaker, crossoverless design, and it sounds dull at first. You're like, oh, it's kind of dull. And if you're in one of those shows where you have to go in and out of the rooms, you might just pop out of the room and dismiss it as, oh, single driver stuff is, you know, it's our single driver speakers are too dull, I need more. But really, if you sit in those rooms and you spend some time in those rooms, your ears come around, and then all of a sudden you realize, I'm hearing everything. Even though there wasn't the tiz of the tweeter, the thing, it's still smooth. I still hear everything, and it's actually very comforting. There's something about that phase, having all the phase, that single point source, that calms your noid, like the pizza noid, right? Like your squirrel. The squirrel is utterly... he can't survive. There's zero squirrel food. And I thought it was the opposite. I always thought, oh, single-ended triode and single driver speaker is like Tweaksville, right? That's for the guys that are really tweakers, you know. But it's the opposite. It's for the simple people that want to have simple and no squirrel food. There's absolutely zero squirrel food in a rig like that. There's no anxieties that are triggered. Because it has to do with the sonic presentation, whatever, I don't know, artifacts or whatever anomalies you get from a multi-driver system are not there with a single driver system. And it's like, you know, so it's calming. You get in there and you're just, I remember sitting there closing my eyes in Voxative room. I was like, man, I was like in a trance. I like almost wanted to sleep in a good way. It was like it was like, you know, when you meditate, if there's any meditators out there, you get into that zone where it's not sleep, but it feels like it, right? You close your eyes and you're like, I gotta put my glasses on. You guys are busting me right now, because I could put my glasses on to see something, if you know what I mean. Okay. Anyways, so boom, boom, busted. Anyways, so. It's morning, man. I'm still drinking my coffee. Come on, give me a break. Anyways, and so so you know, it's like a meditative trance almost, you know, and that's how I felt in the Voxative room. I was in this trance, and it was like, it's like an embryonic like a warm coat or a warm something that just envelops you. you know, and I have a wicked single driver system at home that I haven't set up. And I think I got it, but I need the damn room. I don't have the room to set it up. I need another room to set this thing up in. I've got single driver Feastrex field coils with Tungar power supplies, blah, blah, blah. And I want to do some experimentation now with them after spending some time in the voxative room. Now, if I was at one of those shows where I had to bop in and out of a room, I might have blown off vox. I might have come in and gone, oh, not engaging enough, not too soft, something like that. But it took me spending time in there and slowing down, which is really, there's this thing that I'm discovering about slowing the F down. And really, like, and Isaac has taught me this. I have Isaac, I can give Isaac the credit for this, because he taught me about, when I went to his house listening to vinyl, about slowing down to just freaking put the record on, right? That typically would drive me crazy. Too much, and still, I don't like the ritual. I have music to listen to, then I have other shit to do. So I want my music listening to be maximized for music listening and not ritual. But I'm starting to understand the value of the ritual and how it might maybe just calm people down because they're forced to slow down. So if you live a fast life and you do vinyl, it will force your ass to slow the F down and take your time and be more cognizant and more in the moment, right? Well, that's kind of like what the single driver speakers are, or in the systems that are musical, like Audio Note would be another one. Even though it wasn't a single driver rig, it had that same calmness thing to it. And even though we were playing Tool in the weirdest way, it was calming to me, you know? And I think it has to do with the sonic. Something about the sonic is not agitating, it's not activating, it doesn't trigger the squirrel, you know? And so it feels really calming, whereas the Borison was amazing, but that shit's squirrel food. I mean, for real. Like, all the detail and all that image and everything, you're listening for it's like you're cliffhanging on every single note, just like, where's the next note? What's the next thing that's coming in, you know? And it's great. It's totally fun, and it's an adventure, you know? But it's a totally different type of listening, and it's absolutely not one or the other. It is meaning good or bad. It's like one or the other, as in choice of listening style and what you want to do with your brain when you're in that listening session, because it's very much a different, like, man, it could be a different brainwave if we could call it a different brainwave, you know, because it very much is. So anyways, I'm really enjoying this place. I will dig coming back. Dallas, Texas is kind of like, it's sort of like Schaumburg, in that it's a big flat as a board, building after building, corporation after corporation. It's kind of yucky in that regard. But this venue is, I mean, if I go around and show you, there's the Buddha. And this is just one atrium, okay? There is an atrium, there's a tower over there with a wicked steakhouse. We went, I mean, it's 4.5-star steakhouse. The other atrium, if I show you, it's over there. You see that little walkthrough where that guy in the green coat's going kind of over there? That's the second atrium. That's where our show is. On the mezzanine, we kind of have command of that area. But man, imagine if we had this whole area, and if you look down there, through that hall, there's a huge center hall with giant freaking banquet rooms. It's crazy. So all in all, the show has been great. I sort of wanted to share with you more so my experience, more so than documenting the rooms and going, you know, and all that kind of stuff. Well, here's what this rig is, and here's what this rig is, and it sounds like this, and it sounds like that. The rooms that stuck out, I showed on my shorts. So go into my video shorts, because those are the rooms that impressed me enough to pull my phone out and do a damn video. Because, you know, when I'm here, man, I'm interfacing with people. I don't want to make it work, you know, where I'm just doing a job, you know. This is, even though this is part of my job, to me it's about the people and the connections and just the camaraderie and the fellowship, you know. That's where I've found my solace in this whole thing. Because you guys know, a while back, I was talking about, you know, the shows and how they drove me crazy and the same old shit and all that kind of stuff. Well, it's the same old shit to me if I look at the equipment and I only pay attention to the equipment, because the equipment is the same old shit. But when I get into the relationships and the people, that's where I find my home. So anyways, thanks for joining, and I will see you guys later. I will watch for my short videos today. All right, see you.